Hello, my friends, and welcome to another video of J Master Productions with your best friend, Justin. Your greatest friend in the entire universe who is not here to deceive you or collect any money from you. Can you believe that? A content creator who actually just makes content because he genuinely wants to wake people up and genuinely cares about people. Who would have thought, right? Well, in this video here, we're going to be talking about Christmas, which has become a very controversial holiday the past couple years with the big spiritual awakening that's gone on with a lot of people ever since 2020. What took place there, we saw a big mass awakening. Obviously, people got misled with all the different rabbit holes that the powers that be and their algorithms put in front of all of us, which are stumbling blocks, and a lot of people are still trying to get past those hurdles. But nonetheless, I'm not going to talk about is it right or wrong to celebrate Christmas? The whole historical, is this really Jesus Christ's birthday? Is it not? Is it lawful to celebrate it? Is it sinning if you do celebrate? Is the right thing not to celebrate? I'm not going to get into that whole debate. But just to give you a little bit of background and context on where I'm coming from, about 8 years ago, I started to wake up to truth. It was 2017. I went down the rabbit hole of 9/11, and that's really what woke me up and got me curious and got me into the research that I still do today. A lot of the people who I came across back then were Christians. They were Bible believing, Christ worshiping Christians who I still watch to this day, mind you. It's not like I don't watch them anymore. But, you know, people that basically preach, oh, you just gotta, there's nothing you could do. It's all in God's hands. You gotta just outsource your life to Christ, and you'll have, you'll be alive for eternity, and you won't burn after this world, right? And the problem with all that is, like I've spoken about many times in my content, any sort of religion that's saying, okay, the Bible is what's right and everything else is wrong, don't even look into it, that is an incorrect outlook to have on life. Because yes, there's obviously a ton of teachings in the Bible that you can learn from spiritually. There's a lot of truth in the Bible that you can compare to real life and what's going on today and in the past and what's coming. But when people start saying, oh, well, there's nothing we could do, we just have to give our power to a being that we can't even see, and that's it. Well, that's where people are mistaken, because they're not going all the way. You see, they might understand truth. They might understand what's taking place. They might have good solutions how to fix stuff that's going on. But their issue is that they're not looking past the Bible. They're not looking past Scripture. They're just saying, this is it, and there's nothing more to it. They're not looking further into it. And that's the whole goal of the Bible, not just for people who are awake, but just people who want to, oh, well, you know, if I want to be a good human being and I want to go to heaven, I just got to show up to church on Sundays, and I got to celebrate all the Christian holidays, right? And then I'll be good. I'll go to heaven, right? I'll be a good person, because we all think we're good people. And you ask any person on the street, and like 99% of people, I guarantee you, would say, oh, I'm a good moral person, even though the vast majority of people have no idea what real morality is, and they believe lies. They live their lives based on lies every single day. So there's obviously a ton of contradiction with how so-called Christians live their lives, and we all know that. It's not hidden. But then there's Christians who know a lot more, who have done research into the dark occult, into Satanism, how the world is structured and what's going on and where all the money goes. You know, follow the money, as they say. And then there's those Christians who went on to start YouTube channels and who've been around for 10, 15 years now. Obviously, none of them are big. None of them are famous, anything like that, because, again, like I said earlier, you have algorithms that make it impossible for you to share real valuable information. See, the algorithms, they just want nonsense out there. They either just want nonsense or misinformation if people are trying to seek out information. So, you know, that for a while I wasn't celebrating Christmas. For a while I wouldn't go to my family's Christmas events. I would make up excuses, or I would say, oh, I just don't like Christmas, you know, and because a lot of the Christians that I would watch are awake Christians. They're not the lukewarm type. They're actually awake to what's going on, but they just don't have the full scope of things because they're still stuck in that biblical context of, oh, well, it's all in God's hands. You got to just give your life to Christ, just pray. And that's it, right? And I'm sorry, I'm having some issues with my throat today, guys, so sorry if I cough here and there. But anyway, that's the issue I have with a lot of those content creators who I still watch to this day. And it's like I always say, you can watch people even if you don't agree with everything, even if you disagree with everything. And that doesn't mean that there's not something you can get from them or something you can't learn, because I learn from them almost every day. I watch them still. So, those Christians, even though they're very aware about stuff, they make content, they do a terrific job in waking people up that are looking for answers. They're still stuck in the religious paradigm of, okay, the Bible is all the truth. Don't look into anything any further. Anything that contradicts the Bible, or that's anyone who's not talking about Christ or God is a fed or is a plant or whatever, or is misleading you, which isn't always the case. I mean, there's plenty of people who talk about God, who talk about Christ, that are misleading people. Because what people do, these content creators, is they'll use God's name in vain. They just say, oh, well, I'm a believer in God. I'm a believer in Christ. Take Nick Fuentes, for example. I just made a video on him. I've made a lot of videos on Nick Fuentes this whole year. He always says Christ is king, but look at how he speaks. Look at how he acts. Look at how he lives his life. He's clearly not living the life that Christ would want. He has the influence. He's got, millions and millions of views total, right? He's got 500,000 followers on all of his platforms that I've seen. So this guy has an audience, right? But anyone who's being logical and rational and looking at things for what they are, as opposed to what they want it to be, they'll easily be able to see through these people. So for a long time, I wasn't going to Christmas events, okay? I would not go because I thought it was sinning, because I did fall down the Christian, religious type conspiratorial rabbit hole for a while. I came out of it, honestly, just maybe 2 years ago, something like that, 2023. Started to come out of it, thanks to truthers who actually go further than just the Bible and give you the whole scope of things, So anyway, and then the way I would look at other people is, oh, look at all these sheep that are celebrating Christmas. They don't know what the day's about. They're actually taking a part in pagan God worship, which I'm sure there is still truth to that, because even the Christians who, not the lukewarm Christians, but the Christians who are exposing truth, those same Christians say not to celebrate Christmas, right? Because it's a sin. It's not really Christ's birthday. There's nothing in the Bible that says to celebrate his birthday or whatever. And there's a ton of debate that you can find online. And again, I'm not going to get into that whole debate. But I used to have an outlook on Christmas as it's stupid. Oh, like, look at all these sheeple rushing to the stores to buy gifts and hosting these holiday parties. It's stressful, right? Because, I don't have any kids or anything like that, but I'm sure if you have kids, you have nephews, nieces, whatever, cousins, whatever it might be, little brothers, little siblings, little kids that might want gifts and that you want to give them gifts to make them happy because, maybe you were once a kid, right? When I was a kid, I loved Christmas. I couldn't wait for Christmas. I remember every Christmas Eve, I would have trouble sleeping at night because I was so excited to get my gifts the next day. And that's the thing, when you're a kid, you don't care about the whole spiritual aspect of it. Oh, this is Jesus Christ's birthday. All you think about is the movies that you see, leaving out. Sorry about my voice, guys. You think about leaving out the milk and cookies for Santa Claus, right? You think about all those movies, those TV shows that are all Christmas themed. You think about making the list, right? And you think about the stockings, the Christmas tree, maybe baking cookies with your mom or something, right? All different things that people do on Christmas. And every Christmas, I would go to my aunt's house. I did it last year. Last year, I went for the first time in a while. And so the reason I went is because, you know what? I want to see my family. And the thing is, I know, and same with Thanksgiving, they've made Thanksgiving and Christmas all about family, right? Well, it's all about your family, being grateful for your loved ones in your life, which is great and all. I'm not saying that's a bad message, but what people don't seem to understand, especially with Thanksgiving is a whole different topic, but I mean, Thanksgiving is a holiday that I can really get behind to not celebrate, because Thanksgiving is all about the slaughter of the Indians here in the United States. When the Europeans came here and conquered it, and how they had a great feast and then murdered all of them after that. I mean, Thanksgiving has a really dark past. I would say much darker than Christmas, that we all celebrate because what do the powers that be do? Over time, over periods of time, over different generations, they erase the evil history about it, and they make it warm and fuzzy. Oh, you got to be with your family. Come on, don't be a Grinch. Don't be so lame. Don't be so selfish. Come on, go hang out with your family, And so they've turned it into that. And then they've done the same with Christmas, right? They've just made it about, well, you're gonna get together with family or friends. You're gonna drink. You're gonna eat food. You're gonna give each other gifts, right? It's gonna be a fun time. They've just made it about a fun time. None of it is actually serious. None of it is actually like people care about what the holiday's about. It's just about some fun. No work, right? You don't got to show up to work, so people are all in a good mood because they have off, right? So I get it, right? I understand it, right? I get into the spirit, the Christmas holiday too, because there's something in the air this time of year, right? With all the Christmas stuff. It's like there's something in the spirit that people get. They get in a better mood. Things feel more magical. Um, you wanna snuggle up in a blanket with some hot cocoa or some hot tea and watch a Christmas movie, right? I get it. And that's like the what they've done to it. They made it like a mainstream fun day, and they made you forget about what the day is all about. Just like with Thanksgiving, where people are like, oh, well, just about being thankful with your friends and family, and you eat together, you drink alcohol, and you have a fun time. And they made Christmas the same thing. So anyway, I went to Christmas last year because I wanted to see my family. I haven't seen my cousins, my aunts, uncles in a long time. My parents I see every so often, but I wanted to see everyone. And I was like, you know what? Because I realize now that everything about religion is false. I'm not sinning by partaking in Christmas, and it's not even like I take the holiday serious, right? Like I'm not out here buying people gifts. Anytime, the only person I buy a gift for is my girlfriend. But like when people ask me like, what do I want for Christmas? And this time coming up, I always say nothing. I like, don't get me anything. There's nothing that I want. And I'm not offended at all if I don't get gifts from anyone. It's meaningless to me. But here's the thing: if people like want to make it about family, about friends, about like getting together and eating together, drinking together, whatever it might be, of some fun, you have the weekends for that. You have Saturday, you got Sunday. Most people are off then. Maybe you work on the weekends and you have off during the week. But my point is that we all have some free time that we can make for each other. It's very easy to communicate. You just pick up your phone, call someone, send out a group text or whatever, and say, hey, do you guys want to get together at my place or at a restaurant this day, this time, right? Whoever comes, comes. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. And you do that every so often. See, that's the very simple solution. It's not like, oh, this is the one day to see family or this is the one day that you're going to see them. No. You could do it whenever. You just got to make time for each other, right? My friends and family have my phone number. They could contact me anytime they want to get together. Same with me, right? If I really wanted to get together with friends or family and I wanted to invite people over to my apartment to eat or I wanted to meet at a restaurant, I could send out a text and make it happen, right? I can make calls, make it happen. It doesn't just have to be on Christmas or on Thanksgiving. So, the way we look at it is like a child. We look at Christmas and Thanksgiving like children. How it's like, well, we all have to get together on this day because, we're celebrating Christ or we're celebrating being thankful for family and friends. So you got to come this day. If you don't come, you're selfish. You got to get gifts for these kids. You got to spend all this money on gifts and stuff. You got to spend money on food, on drinks, right? You got to travel far, if you got to go. So that's what they've turned, like, Christmas into. Like, this whole, it's an obligation. You got to get up and go. When, in reality, any day of the week, any day of the month, any time of the year, you can reach out to friends and family and get together that way. But people don't really do that, do they? Right? Like besides my parents, no one else in my family, and besides some friends, right? It's not like people are constantly reaching out to me to get together, right? And I know we're in this post-COVID world where people aren't hanging out, interacting as much as we used to. People don't get together as much as they used to. People don't have as many friends as they used to. People aren't getting into intimate relationships as much as they used to. People aren't having kids and reproducing as much as they used to. So I understand it. I get it. But all I'm saying is like the way we're looking at these holidays is like children. It's like we have to do it. And the people who don't partake are weird or are bad. We got to put on this facade. And some of us don't even like our people in our family, right? And we want to put a facade like we're so great, we're great, we're so close, and oh my God, things in my life are great, even though they're probably not, because let's be real, we're all being priced out of existence here. We're all feeling what the powers that be are pushing onto us. Biggest thing being price. Biggest thing being, well, you can't say this, you can't say that, We got the digital prison, the digital IDs on deck here coming up. We got an entire digital prison that's ready for us to walk into, and people want to pretend like it's not there. I mean, people. I shouldn't even say pretend. A lot of people just aren't aware that the digital prison is right there waiting for us. The powers that be are just waiting for the right time, the right crisis, the right psyops to convince people to say, okay, we need digital IDs. We should monitor people on the internet so that people aren't saying hateful things or making terroristic threats, right? I mean, it all ties together. Everything I talk about in my channel here, it all ties together at some point, right? My overall view on Christmas, because I know I kind of went all over the place, I'm just trying to paint a broad picture here. But my view on it, if you want to celebrate, go ahead. If you don't want to celebrate, that's fine, right? Just because you are Christian or your family's Christian, and they might make you feel guilty even for not partaking in certain religious events or whatever. Well, you got to understand, and you as an adult human being have to make decisions on your own sometimes, and realize that just because these people are my family or these people are my friends, that doesn't mean that they always have my best interest at heart, because these people are themselves are deceived. So they're not purposely trying to mislead you. They just think that what they're doing or what they're telling you or what they're trying to make you do is for your benefit. But in reality, these people are just deceived who are preaching these things to you. They're trying to make it seem like there's something wrong with you because you're making a decision to not celebrate something that you don't feel is necessary. And there's no law that says you have to celebrate it. We don't have to celebrate this day. A lot of us just feel obligated to. We're just going through the motions, right? As with most things, the vast majority of Americans, and people in the world, they just go through the motions of things. Like, they don't really care about what it's about, what it's for, what the day is. They're just going through the motions because people are mindless zombies. I mean, people are so distracted by, like I was saying, the price of everything and how they're going to afford their mortgage payment, their rent payment, groceries, their bills and stuff, right? That they don't have time to stop and really think about reality, about stuff that's important, because people are stuck in survival mode. People are just trying to survive out here. So they have no time to look into things that actually matter and stuff that can actually help them see the bigger picture for them to wake up and get themselves out of the mental prison that they're in. But no, do I believe it's sin if you're celebrating Christmas, as a lot of Christians would say no. If you don't want to celebrate it, is there something wrong with that either? No. A lot of religious people, they like to get into those debates because there's been a couple of debates I watched on YouTube of pastors, saying, should we celebrate Christmas? Should we not? Is it sin if we do? Is it sin if we don't? And really what I can conclude is they're both right. I mean, you want to celebrate Christmas because you're such a big fan of Jesus Christ, even though you probably don't live your life like him, go right ahead. But that doesn't mean you're going to get into the kingdom of heaven. That doesn't mean you're spiritually inclined and that you're a better person than other people who don't celebrate. And if you don't celebrate, that doesn't mean that you're not committing sin. That doesn't mean that you're better than people who do celebrate it because you think that you're not sinning by not celebrating it. So again, there's a lot of roadblocks that get into people's way. Because like I was saying earlier, a ton of these Christian channels that I watch, or a channel like this one, a Hebrew Israelite, who are talking about God constantly, are talking about, giving your life to Christ and this and that. The Bible is not the ultimate truth. So if the Bible isn't the ultimate truth, that doesn't mean you're doing anything morally wrong by celebrating it or not celebrating it. It's just a worldly thing. It's provided by the world. It's been a worldly tradition for a long time now. It's transformed. It's taken different forms throughout the decades, right? It always evolves into different stuff. But ultimately, it's just a giant distraction. It's just to distract people. So that, you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, and you got New Year's. You got all these things that are distractions, right? And I'm actually going to make a video talking about New Year's. Not about the actual day, just about the end of the year, kind of talking about my experience with this year and what I hope for next year. And, some of my goals. I want to hear some of your goals as well. How your year went overall, stuff like that. But that's gonna be in the next video. So anyway, I hope I'm I'm like making some sort of sense. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say when it comes down to Christmas is it's overhyped. Like, it's overhyped. The people who are of this world, they love Christmas because, you get gifts, you get to eat and drink and see family, even though you can do that literally any day of the week when you have free time. Um, they've made it like a distraction, so you're all stressed out. You got to buy gifts for people, you got to travel. They got the TV shows, the movies, the music, you name it. All these distractions out here, to get you in the Christmas spirit. So, is it wrong if you celebrate it? No. But is it also wrong if you don't celebrate it? Absolutely not. That's my take on it. I would love to hear what you guys think. Because, again, I know that the Bible is not the one-all, be-all truth. Not that there's stuff you can't learn from it. Not that there's some truth in it. But is outsourcing your life to a figure that you can't even see the real actual truth and what you need to be doing? No. What we all need to be doing is, okay, understanding and knowing truth, but then also spreading it. You have to get out there and you have to talk about truth. Let's say you are a big Jesus Christ believer or you're a big Christian or whatever. You need to take a good look at yourself in the mirror. Are you doing anything Jesus Christ did? Because all these Christians, I would say like 9 out of 10 Christians, do not do what Jesus Christ did when he was alive. They're not out here preaching truth, all right? And don't just preach to people about scriptures because people don't want to hear that. Talk about the truth of the world. Talk about what's really going on in the world. Talk about the history of certain things. Talk about where we're at right now. And talk about where we're headed. Talk about politics being fake. Talk about the Federal Reserve being one of the biggest scams in history and encourage people to look into it. Because the Federal Reserve is not only going to show you, who owns your money, but who also owns your politicians and who owns your corporations and all that. I mean, just knowing that little piece of history is going to show you a lot. Okay? And again, I challenge any one of you Christians out there, if you're a big Christ believer, do you really live like Christ and do what Christ does? Are you out here preaching truth to people? Are you out here actually helping and saving people? Or are you just showing up to church on Sundays and celebrating these religious holidays and thinking that you're going to go into heaven one day? If even though what you really truly do is you probably just show up at your job, you come home, you watch TV, you scroll on your phone, maybe you go to the gym, maybe you hang out with your friends on the weekend, but you don't really do anything to help people, or you don't really serve the truth. You serve yourself. You don't serve Christ even. You serve yourself. You don't serve the truth. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Let me know what you guys think about Christmas. Do you celebrate? Do you not? What do you guys think about the holiday? What do you think about Thanksgiving and the history of that? Let me know what you guys think about that as well. This is your best friend, Justin. Thank you for listening to me rant, and I'll see you guys in the next one.